So this morning we are going to walk through using Command to create print marketing materials that you can use as a part of your business. This would include anything from flyers, listing presentations, business cards, letterhead, anything like that.
Okay.
As we're going through the training this morning, interrupt me with any questions that you have. This training is all for you, and since it's just you and I, we can keep this pretty conversational, and let me know if there's anything specific you want to see or want me to show something again.
Okay, got it.
Happy to do that.
Thank you.
So I'm going to get started by going to Designs. So Designs is the third applet from the bottom on the left-hand side. If you roll your mouse over it, it says Designs, so click there. They've done a refresh of the Designs interface. So now you have the ability to search by designs by name, or you can sort by types.
Okay.
Or filter by types, and then sort by oldest to new or newest to oldest. So this just makes it a little bit easier for you to find your designs.
Okay.
So to get started, we're going to create a listing presentation. So this is something that you'd want to put together to print out to take with you to your listing consultation. So I'll click Create Design in the top right-hand corner. It's going to ask me to select what type of design I want to make. I'm going to select print, continue. Give it a second to load. Now this is going to pull up all the different templates, but before we jump into these templates here, I want to walk through the assets section of designs first. So I'm going to click on assets, and here within assets, you can go ahead and set up any of your assets or brand identity information. So that way, as you're working on your listing presentation or any of your flyers, everything is right there for you to go ahead and personalize it and make it your own.
Okay, got it.
So the first item here is colors and palettes. So if you have specific color palettes that you want to use across all of your marketing materials, you can go ahead and set up those color palettes here. It's really easy. You can click New Color Palette. I'm just going to rename this. Let's rename this to Training 715. And then you just select the colors by clicking on the plus sign. Now you could go through and find the specific colors down here, or what would probably happen is you can use the RGB code, or more than likely you probably have the hex ID number. So if you click on these little up and down arrows down here in the bottom right hand corner of this window, you can select the different color codes. So if you have the hex code here, you can just type that in. So I know that Keller Williams red is B401.
That's good to know.
0101. And then just click enter. So now I have KW red here.
Okay.
And you can just go through and add as many different colors as you want. I guess you get 5 per palette. So this way you can easily make sure that all of your marketing materials are cohesive in look and feel across whether you make it in designs or if you have a third party make it or anything like that.
Okay.
You also have the ability to add personalized fonts here. You can upload fonts if you have them directly on your computer. You can just upload them here, or you can pull them from the web. So you can search for a bunch of free fonts here. So you can just kind of go through and look. You can search as well. And if you want to add one, just click on the toggle to add it and then click add. And now you've been able to add that font. So when you're in the design, you can go ahead and change that font super easily. You don't have to come back and forth. You don't have to leave the design you're working on to come over here, add the font. If you do this the first time, then everything's set up for you moving forward.
Okay, got it.
The next item is images. And here I just have a couple different versions of my headshot. So any image that you want to use, you can include that here. I would recommend, having a couple headshots or whatnot, anything that you want to, anything you want to include so people can recognize you as your agent. You can just upload a couple here, and you can create folders if you want to organize them. If you have a different headshot, maybe for a luxury listing versus a non-luxury listing versus a rental property or like a vacation rental home or like a lake house, I don't know, however you want to set it up.
Okay.
The next is text. And this is going to be pre-populated text that you're going to use pretty commonly when you're creating your marketing materials, like your name, your phone number, the office address, email address, all of that information. And you can go ahead and set this up. So that way, when you're in the design, you can just click add and it will add that entire phrase or whatever the text is. So that way you don't have to add a text box and then write it in every single time.
Okay.
So you can come over here if you want to add a new one, or excuse me, add a field. And it gives you a whole list of different field types that you can add. And at the bottom, you have a new text. So if you just wanted to add whatever, I had my slogan here. I can label this updated slogan 715, and I will get you in a new home stat. I don't know, I'm just making this up. And then click save. And then here's my new slogan right there.
Got it.
The next is logos. So I would recommend going ahead and uploading a couple different versions of the KW First Atlanta logo. You want to make sure that you have these logos easily on hand because they will be required for certain pieces of marketing material to ensure that you are GREC compliant.
Right.
If you don't have any of the KW logos, we can go to rawlsgrouphelpdesk.com. And Scott Hardy has actually already uploaded an entire zip folder of all the Market Center. So if you go to downloads and then Market Center logos, and then you can come over here and you can click on the First Atlanta logo in the top right-hand corner or this URL right here. And it will download probably like 25 different versions and different file formats, depending on how you want to use it. So there's PNGs for transparent backgrounds. There's JPEGs, there's EPS, I think maybe some Photoshop files. So that way you have a bunch of different resources and like different color formats as well. So it's rawlsgrouphelpdesk.com.
Okay.
I would recommend that when uploading the logo, use the .png file. The .png file has the transparent background. Now, the JPEG will have the white background, which sometimes will look fine. But in my professional opinion, I think having the transparent background will just make your marketing pieces look a little bit more elevated and professional.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
And if you have a personal logo, you can add that as well.
Got it.
The next is elements. And elements are going to be any secondary or tertiary branding items. So if you have a smaller logo or some other brand identifying imagery, you can upload that here as well. Just makes it easy to have it on hand. Then we have videos. So within Command, you are able to make some videos. So if you have any type of like intro or outro that you would want to use regularly on your videos, or anything else that you want to include here, you can upload those videos as well.
Okay.
Last is files. So if there are any special files that you want to include, so that way you can just easily access them while you're working, just put those right here. Now you can always come back and edit any of this information or change it, delete it. But I would recommend that before you get started working in designs, go ahead and spend a couple minutes and update this information, especially with the images and the logos. So that way you have those on hand when you are in the design. Any questions about assets?
No, there was, I believe when you first clicked on it and you were going to actually create a file, there was an option on there for social. That's good for like Instagram and Facebook and all that? Are those design templates specifically for that? Yeah.
So when you create a new design, one of the options is social, and social in this context really does mean anything digital. But when you click on it, and I can show you this in just a minute as well, it'll have a bunch of different templates that are sized specifically for Instagram or Facebook or Instagram stories or LinkedIn. So that way you don't have to recreate an image multiple times or a template. it ought to be formatted specifically for that.
Right. Okay. I was asking because yesterday I was just making a quick post for Instagram, just letting friends and family know that I've joined Keller Williams, and I was sitting here cutting and editing and doing all these little things. This would have made it so much easier.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to templates. So we selected print, so it's going to pull up most of the print templates that we have available. On the left-hand side, we have all the different categories of templates that are made for us. So for right now, this just has us in the My App section. And then along the top here, you can see all the different sizes that are included. So it's going to show us all. But if I wanted jumbo postcards, I could click on jumbo postcards, and this is going to show me all the different jumbo postcard layouts. This is if I click social square, it's going to show me all the social layouts. So even though we're in the print, it still shows these, even though they're social. But you can see how it's all pretty much the same look and feel, except this is a square. So it's going to be best for Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
Flyers, bifolds. Oh, not this again. The other day when I was on here, it was giving me that error. So let's see, standard postcards. Let's see if that loads. So just lots of different options. Go through and you can click through all the different types of content. So we have listings, coming soon. So if you have something that's getting ready to be listed or for sale, just listed. And they all very similar, but a little bit different. And the nice thing is you have full copyright permissions to use any of these images and any of these layouts across any platform.
Okay, great.
So, which is great. So yeah, you have all the listing ones here. We also have, here's our listing presentation, which we're going to walk through in just a moment. We have the same thing for buyer. So buyer presentation, Keller Mortgage, lead gen, business basics, professional services. So this will be, luxury listing. And then luxury, if you have a luxury listing or you're going on a luxury listing appointment, here's a bunch of the luxury templates that you can use. Now, theoretically, you could use this same luxury listing template or presentation for any meeting, but these are designed just to be a little bit more
Sure, got it. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
So,
luxury
I got
appropriate. And then down here at the bottom, we have new designs. So check this out regularly. So anytime that the lab team puts together new designs, it'll show up here. And this is where you'll be able to find any of the seasonally relevant designs. You can see we have Canada Day. We had a bunch of 4th of July.
And these are good to use as I guess filler posts, if you're putting it on Instagram just to keep active on there.
Yeah. And yeah, it's, just a way to show, hey, like we're celebrating today. I'm acknowledging whatever, holiday is today.
Right.
And then, at the bottom, KW First Atlanta. So just kind of.
Yeah, I'd like to throw in a few of these in between listing posts and all just to keep active on social medias.
And then the other thing I wanted to show you, let's see, is under business basics. Because they keep moving it around. Here we go. In lead generation, we have holiday greetings. And this is where it's going to have every single one of the holidays. So usually 9 times out of 10 will be under new designs, but always come here to check out the holiday ones. And that's where you'll be able to find basically every single holiday that is a thing. You'll have it here. And then again, you can select your size. So you have your social square. And then if you wanted to put it on your story, here's one that said vertical optimized image size there.
Okay.
So the next thing I want to do is walk through a listing presentation and how we can set that up. Any questions before we jump into that?
Are there any sort of, I guess, posts that would be maybe some information about real estate or facts about real estate that could also be used for filler posts, things like that?
Yes. So I went through this on Monday in the creating digital marketing pieces, but you have the neighborhood snaps here.
Okay.
And I can just pull up, so let's do social really quickly. And then you can just open this and click use. And this is going to, this shows just Barton Hills, just like a neighborhood in Austin, but it has this little neighborhood snap right here that has a bunch of really top line information about what's going on in real estate in that market. So you can, click on this and then come over here to KWLS, and I can click on snapshots, and I can search. Let's do Brookhaven, Georgia. Actually, let's do 30319. What? Okay. Scroll down. Brookhaven, Atlanta. Perfect. So here it shows, I can click on this, shows the different layouts of this market snap. I'm going to click on the replace image. And now it replaces that neighborhood snap with information for Brookhaven. And you can go through and you can do this for different neighborhoods, depending on which part of town you're in. Like this would be Brookhaven, but if you're more in the suburbs, you can actually pull by specific residential neighborhoods. Okay. And then I can just quickly update this. House hunting in Brookhaven. And now I have just something really quick and simple that I can put on social media that says, hey, this is what's going on in Brookhaven right now in real estate. And it pulls all this information out of KWLS, which is directly linked to FMLS. The information here is probably not 100% correct. But the idea here is that it is correct enough to have a conversation. So you can give some top line information to people that are not experts in real estate. So they can kind of arm themselves. It positions you as an expert in that neighborhood. And then the goal really is for someone to reach out to you and say, hey, thank you for sharing this information. Could you pull some comps for this neighborhood? Or I've been thinking about moving there, over here, this other part of town, and just really start those real estate conversations.
Right.
So for digital, this would be something really simple that you can do. And you can update this. And let's say you don't like this picture here because this looks nothing like Brookhaven. You click on the image and then come over here to images and then go to workspace. And then there's a whole collection of images here. So house exteriors. And this one, I don't know, for sake of now, I can just click replace.
Sure.
And then I'll want to reposition that. All right, so that looks a little bit more like Brookhaven. So
looks good.
There's a bunch of different images of different types of styles of houses. Because I do want to point out, if you have a listing, and you already sell that listing and you want to use some of those images for other pieces of marketing material, you need to get written permission from that photographer to use that material, those images, because when you pay for those listing photos, you are paying a lease to use those photos in the direct sale of that home, not to market yourself as an agent. So just be careful, because if you incorrectly use an image, you could be, sued or have to pay up to $10,000 fine.
Now, all these images that are on here, those are free to use, right?
That is correct. Yeah, full copyright permissions to use all of these images.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and also be mindful, don't just take them off of FMLS, because the same thing is that photographer, whoever took that, owns that image, and you don't have permission to use it.
Okay.
Unless you get written permission.
Okay, understood.
All right, so I'm gonna go back. Let's go back home. I don't need to save this.
One more quick question. When you're using these posts for socials and all, I was speaking with Amy yesterday, and she was saying some of these when you're getting ready to post on social medias, you need to run it by Lynn LaCroix.
Yeah.
if I'm using these already generated, templates, do I still have to run it by her, or is it kind of free to use?
So,
Or is that only if I'm putting a listing up, I'll need to run it by her?
so I would recommend just sending all marketing pieces to Lynn to review
Okay.
very quickly, just to make sure that you are compliant. For something that is not excuse me, not listing specific, you more than
Right.
likely are fine because the rules on that are a lot more lax. But
Right.
yeah, like if it is a listing, there are very specific requirements that Greg wants to make
Of
sure that
course.
you have. So I would definitely recommend sending it to Lynn then.
Okay. And the best way is to just email it to her,
Yeah.
or
You can
okay.
just like screenshot it or attach it as an image, and you can send it
Okay.
to Lynn or Alita, and they're both really quick on reviewing
Okay.
them.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, I would say usually within an hour.
Okay. Great.
So yeah, pretty quick. So next thing we're going to do is walk through listing presentation. And this is going to be the same process for either creating a listing presentation or buyer's consultation packet. I'm just going to select listing presentation today. So I'm going to click on listing presentation, and it's going to pull up all the different themes that we have. So we have a couple here. Looks like we have 5 different ones. I don't looks like they're repeated here. It's booklets and then letter. Oh, we'll do booklets. So we just have, the very simple classic one, the modern, approachable, classic, and then modern red. I'm going to use the classic one right here. So to do that, I'm going to click use. And now it's going to load the design editor. And it lets me know your design is available for print order. So I can print it, order it directly here. Down on the right-hand side over here, you'll notice there isn't any images or anything. And then on the left-hand side, we have this scroll of all of these template images. So what we have to do is go through and select which images or which pages of the template we want to include in our actual design. So to do that, roll your mouse over the template preview and then click the plus sign. And if I click pages down here in the bottom right-hand corner, it's going to show me all the different pages that I have. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it always puts this first page as blank. I'm just going to delete it. And then I can come here, are instructions. So this is instructions on how to use this. So you wouldn't want to include this in your actual listing presentation.
Okay.
Next, here's this, made for. So I'm going to add that. Here's there's a page. Here we go. Just going to add a couple of these. So you can see all the pages that I've added over here on the right-hand side. Comps. And you can scroll, there's a ton of information here, the process.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing is it's all set up for, so about 80% of the information and layout, you don't have to do anything to. But we can go through and personalize it, and it's going to, make it look like this is a professionally created.
Right. Made for them specifically. Yeah. Gives a nice touch.
So, all right. So I've added, looks like 7 pages over here. I'm going to go to the first page, and then we can start making what? Oh, we don't want that. Let's delete that. So we'll start here. So pretty simple. We're going to start by editing this information. So this is, let me zoom in so I can actually read this. A custom consultation exclusively prepared for, so I'm going to click on the text. Now I can double click and I can edit the text right here, or I can come up here to the toolbar that appears, and this typewriter button, in my opinion, makes it just a little bit easier to update. So I can do this. Let's do Tom and Becky. We'll do save changes. And then we can update the last name. Smith. So it's that easy to update here, that information. Then I'll come down here to the logo, and you can see it just has a DBA placeholder logo. So I'm going to click on that logo. And then the system is going to automatically pull up all the logos that I've previously uploaded. And then I'm just going to roll my mouse over the logo that I want. And then I'm going to use the replace image. To me, it looks like a recycling symbol. And just click replace. And it automatically puts that logo right there.
Got it.
So I don't have to do anything to it. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so it looks nicer. And then if I wanted to add my logo, I can just click add here. And then make it right there. And then I can come down here to the information about me as an agent. Let me zoom in so I can read this. So I'm going to click on the headshot image here, and it's going to pull up my headshots. So I can just come over here and then click replace, and it automatically loads that. And again, I'll do the same thing with all this text down here. And last name. And I can just kind of move that over so it looks like it's meant to be. Why is it not going over? There we go. And then you could just go down here and update all that information. So you can see like this, I can highlight it. I could just do. So really simple.
Yeah, got it.
All right, so I'm going to go on to the next page. Give it a second to load. I'm going to zoom in. This is just looks like quick overview, table of contents. I'm going to update this headshot image here. I'll just use that one. What is that? That red dot doesn't look like it should be there. We can change the arrangement, and let's bring this send to top. There we go.
There you go.
And you can update this, contents as anything changes. I'm going to go to the third page here, and this is going to be a quick overview of the property. So I'll just use an old listing that I have. So let's do typewriter. We'll do 1105. And then I'll change the address here. River Green Drive. Perfect. So now I want to update this information. So I'm going to start by clicking on the image of the listing. Now, one of the benefits of using command is that we can pull the images and information directly out of FMLS using the KWLS service. So I'm going to select the image here, and then I'm going to come over here to KWLS, and I can pull up my listing by typing in 1105 River Green Drive. And then here is my listing. So I'm going to click select, and it's going to pull up all the images that I have uploaded for that listing.
Okay.
So I can use any one of these. I'm just going to click on this and click replace image. There we go. And it's that simple. And then I can come over here and edit all the information about this home. So it's 1 bedroom. It's going to be 1 bath, 710 square feet. And I don't want that information in there. So we'll just leave that out and then click save changes. All right. And then I could come down here and just update this information based on what I know, just kind of a quick overview, a little bit higher, a little bit larger than other homes. One of only, unique floor plan in this community, blah, 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 whatever information you want to put there.
Sure. Okay.
The next is just a quick market neighborhood snap of what's going on in the area. So using the same KWLS, I can click here on the neighborhood snap information, and I can come back up to KWLS and then click snapshots. Let's do River West. Let's see if it pulls anything up. So it's not the best search a search ability, but it works. Let me try zip code. Let's do postal code 30327. All right. So I'll just click replace here. And then I would update all of this information as well. Now, I would expect that this, if you're going on a listing appointment, you've probably already pulled comps for the neighborhood. You're pretty familiar with what's going on in the area. So you could update any of this information that you wanted to.
Okay.
The next is going to be comps. So having gone through and already pulled your FMLS CMA, I would then recommend going through and just updating a couple of these here so they can, your clients can see what those comps are. Now, I would still recommend having a separate conversation about your CMA outside of this, but you do want to include it so there's that context, especially when you leave. If your clients want to go back through this listing presentation, all that information is in one place.
Okay, got it.
So to pull up comps over here, I would just pull up an address. So I know, like here's, you know, a listing. So I can select this listing and I can update this. So I can update the image there, update the address. Three bedrooms, 2 baths. List price 385. Oh. Ooh. So you could just go through and just, I would add just a couple of the comps here. Pretty simple. Again, if you didn't have all this information, I just knew this because this was my old house. In the, over here on the left-hand side, you can click on listing details and it's going to show you all of that information that's included in the listing.
Got it. Nice.
So your built, living area, lot size, bedrooms, carport, schools, all of that information. So that way you don't have to click back and forth between command and FMLS.
Okay, and you added all these details in, or was it populated just from the address?
I just typed them in.
Okay.
You would have to type them in. You could add them, but then you have to go through reformatting. But it's nice here so you have them for reference. So as you're going through here, you can see, okay, I'm going to edit this. How many bedrooms is this? And you can, you know, see it over here.
Okay. Okay, got it.
And then our last page here, the process, you don't need to do anything here.
Okay, just like a checklist for the,
yeah.
Okay.
If I come back over here to templates, I could add more pages if I wanted to. Your media plan. So you could update this. Like most of this information, you can see like strategic promotion, open house strategy. It's in the details. A lot of this is already prepared that you don't actually have to change anything. I would double check and read the information to make sure that it's your voice and that if you need to make any changes, you do. And then here's a page that you'd probably want to update based on your stats. So I add that page here. And then just go through here. And this is just kind of like a quick little resume that you could update. Once you're done with everything, you can come up here and rename this design. So I'm going to name this training listing presentation 715. All right. If I wanted to, I could order it for print right here, or I could come over here and download it. And it's going to give me the ability to select the different types of file that I want to download. If I were actually going to print this, I would want to select PDF for printing. and I would select all pages, or if you just wanted to print certain ones, you could, and then download. And then I could download this PDF to my computer, add it to a thumb drive, and go to the FedEx Kinko's and go print it there.
Okay.
Because more than likely, you probably need to get it printed pretty quickly before going on your listing presentation. Knowing that a lot of times clients will be like, hey, I want to sell my house. Can you come over tonight? And you're like, oh, yeah, give me a couple minutes. That is the listing presentation. Any questions on how to format, use listing presentations?
No, it's all understandable. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to walk through is creating a flyer, a mailer. So if you wanted to promote a house that you have just listed, or you have for sale, or open house or something, you can send those out. And the nice cool thing is you can send them out directly through command. So I'm going to go back home. I'll pull up our flyers. So I'll just go to listings again, and I'm going to do just sold, because I want to farm, let's say I want to farm this neighborhood. So I want everyone in the neighborhood to know, hey, I just sold a home here and I sold it super quickly. So if you're thinking about selling, you should give me a call, because I can get it sold really quickly.
Right.
So up at the top, I'm going to select the size that I want. I'm going to do standard postcard. And let's do this one right here. So I'm going to click use. Open it up. Perfect. So very similar to what we've done. We're just going to go through and update and personalize it. Very much the same way using KWLS. So I'm going to come over here to the image, and I'm going to come over here to KWLS, and I'm going to search for my listing. So here, let's use my old listing. And then we'll use this one. And then I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So I'm going to reposition. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And then click done. All right. And then I'm going to update this text. So use typewriter, 2 bath, and then we'll just 1497 square feet, built in 1961. Save changes. Now, if you wanted to, you could change this font. So just you select the text box, and then we have the font drop down here. Here's our library of fonts. Let's go through here. You can search for it as well. And this also includes the fonts that you had added in the assets section.
Okay.
So if I scroll, there's all fonts. So let's just use that one. All right, stroke color, what is that? No, we don't want to do that. Opacity, if I wanted to change how see-through it was. Font size, let's change this to 8 point. You just play around with it. And then for color, I can do fill color. And then here I have my library colors. So here's my main palette, and then the different palettes that I created. So for today, I can just select training 715 and then click the red, and there's my color. Pretty simple. I'll just update this information really quickly. Sold for $425 in 2 days. And then I'll just update this. Here we go. 3353 Dunn Street Southeast, Smyrna, GA30080. Perfect. And then update the logo down here. You just click on it and it will pull up all the logos you've already had loaded. So I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. So this is page 1. So this is the front. Now we need to update the back. So I'm going to click over here on pages. Then I'm going to select the back. And then I'm just going to leave this as is. I'm just going to delete that. You update this text here. And again, I would go through here and update all this information. Pretty simple. Just reformat it. So you get the idea.
Right.
Any questions on updating any of the text using any of these items up here in the toolbar?
No questions, thanks.
All right. So I'm going to rename this to just sold training 715. Now what we're going to want to do is come over here to the download section, and I'm going to download this. We're going to select PDF for printing, select pages, where I'm just going to do 1 of 1. Actually, let me try this. Try the PDF standard. Oh, okay, they changed this. All right, perfect. So include bleed, automatic bleed, pages. I'm just going to select page 1 and then click download. And we'll give this a second to load because it's going to be a pretty large file size because it is going to be very high resolution. So let's give it a second to download. Looks like it's thinking. Perfect. And now we're going to do the same thing for page 2. And we want to download them separately because when we go to create the flyer, we'll need a separate front and back image. So I'll do the same thing for page 2.
Okay. I was wondering that.
Yeah. So download that. Perfect. So now we have our flyer images. So now we can go into campaigns and we can go ahead and send this out to the entire neighborhood. So I'm going to click done here. So it's going to exit out of designs. I'm going to come over to campaigns, which is the icon of the megaphone. And then up in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to click create campaign. And I'm going to select direct mail because I want to mail this directly from command out to the neighborhood. So with everything in command, I always recommend start at the top and work your way down, filling in the information. So we'll start with just sold training 715. Give this whatever name it is that you want. Select your goal. There's a couple different options here. This isn't going to affect the delivery. Really, the idea here is that if you run multiple direct mail campaigns, you can then compare similar campaigns that had the same goal. So today we are going to advertise a listing. And then how would you like to create a campaign? I'm going to upload a custom template because we've already gone through and created one. So I'm going to upload custom template and then click create campaign.
Okay.
Now it's going to ask to upload the front and the back of the design. So I'm going to do that now. So I'll do upload the front. I'll just drag that right there. And then we have our preview. And then we'll do the back. We'll do the same thing. What? Let's try that again. Okay, well, I'm just going to upload the front for the back. I don't know why it's giving me an error message, but for the sake of training, I'm just going to upload that.
Sure, that's fine.
If you wanted to, you could download postcard templates, and you do have the ability to create the flyer directly in campaigns if you wanted to. I prefer to do it in designs ahead of time, and then that way I can just focus on setting up my campaign and all my targeting information. So I'm going to click continue. And then we'll just go through the rest of the information. So we'll start here with Market Center. Let's fill in the information. So Keller Williams First Atlanta, street address 200 Glen Ridge Point Parkway, Suite 100, Atlanta, Georgia. We'll do 30342. Verify address, corrected address, confirm. And then we're going to do targeting. So since this is just sold, I want to target all the houses around this listing. So I'm going to pull up the address, and then I can target the neighborhood. Or if you wanted to, you could target your database. So if you wanted to send this out to people, like everyone that you know, saying, hey, I just sold this home, you should work with me to sell your home, you can do that as well.
Okay.
So I'm going to type in the address of the listing. Georgia, Smyrna, 30080. And then our budget, it's going to default to send 200 note cards or 200 flyers for first class, which is 59 cents. This is actually like 20 cents cheaper than if you were to go do it through some other comparable partners. But because with the scale of KW, they were able to negotiate this cheaper postage. If you wanted to do less, you could just select the less button over here, or you can just manually type in however many you want.
Okay.
And we'll update the price for you. And then click save. Now I'm going to go to configure targeting. Yes, I want to create this campaign. And now because of the address that I put in there, and I selected 150 flyers, it's going to pull up the 150 closest properties to that listing. So here's the actual listing, and then here's 150 homes. Now, if I ever wanted to change it, I could just scroll around and I could say I want to do 453 or whatever. But let's just go down to around 200. If I want to target by specific property type, I can. So if I just want to send it to only single family homes or multifamily, I can do that. Number of bedrooms. So let's say this house only has 3 bedrooms. So I only want to send it to houses that have 4 or less bedrooms that have, let's do square footage that are, below 2,700.
Okay, got it.
And then I want to do year built. Let's say this house hasn't been sold. I don't want anything that's been sold in the last 6 years. Because, people usually move every 5 to 7 years. So if I can target houses that haven't been sold recently, maybe they'll want to sell and buy my listing. Our postage class, first class is our only option. If you want to send a copy to the company address, you can. Now, one thing I do want to point out, if you decide to send a copy here to the address, it's not going to be addressed to you. It's just going to say to Keller Williams First Atlanta, and then let the receptionist know, hey, I'm expecting a piece of mail. So if you see something with my image on it, can you put that in my mailbox?
Okay, got it.
So once you've gone through and you've edited all of your targeting parameters, you can see how it's kind of spread out. You can go through and do this any which way you want, but this is going to be all the actual houses that are going to receive it. Then I'm going to click next. And then it's going to ask me for my payment information. So I'm going to put in my email and my card information. Here's some information I think is really important to point out, is that if you submit your order before 3 p.m. on a business day, your mailers will go to production the same day in a fulfillment center nearest your target center. Your cards will be inserted into the USPS mail stream within 2 business days, and your mailers are estimated to arrive in mailboxes of the target recipients within 4 to 6 business days. Once the order is submitted, you will be provided with a more accurate estimate. So it is a pretty quick turnaround, but you do want to keep some of those dates in mind. So if you ever wanted to advertise an open house, just know that you're probably going to have to set that up probably a week and a half before the actual open house to ensure plenty of time for those neighbors to receive the cards.
Okay.
And then you just put in your information. This is going to be a preview with all of the address information. And then you just click make payment, and it would create this campaign and send off these flyers for you.
Okay, got it.
Any questions on creating a flyer or going through and setting up the mailing of that?
No questions, thanks.
All right. Any other questions for anything we've gone over this morning? Anything I didn't show you that you thought we'd talk about? Anything you want to see again?
Not necessarily. Everything was pretty self-explanatory. I think I'm all set.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, thanks for joining me this morning. And as you start to play around in designs and in campaigns or, command altogether,
Sure.
please do not hesitate to reach out with any questions. I'm always here to help. Give me a call.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice meeting you this morning, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks, Nicholas. I appreciate it.
Bye.